Hi guys, That Song Review Guy here, and today I'm going to be talking about the top 10 biggest selling songs in the UK as of the 30th of November 2014. Kicking things off at number 10 is All About That Bass by Meghan Trainor. Now I've already talked about this song, so if you want to hear my opinions of that song, check my review in the description box below. Moving on to number 9 is David Guetta's Dangerous featuring Sam Martin. This marks the second outing between these two in 2014, with their first collaboration, Lovers on the Sun, debuting at number 1 back in August. Now, I've never been a big fan of Guetta's work. For me, he started off as somewhat passable, but after a few turds like Sweat and Sexy Bitch, I didn't want to entertain this bum afterwards. He's released some okay to decent tracks since then, but nothing that I would consider being worth my time as serious contenders for best songs of the year. But more along the lines of guilty pleasures. Hell, I'm one of the only people I know of that will give Turn Me On a break. But Dangerous is one of those that sticks in the middle as instantly forgettable. Much like Lovers on the Sun, this song starts off pretty well. Interesting opening with a rather pretty piano introduction followed by a string section, but then abandons this instantly with an electro-pop sound that isn't memorable, a synth that is basically the default setting on any keyboard that you can lay your hands on, and layers Martin's okay singing voice with effects that aren't needed at all. The lyrics are bog standard, driving a hot girl in his car whilst using as many driving metaphors as Martin possibly can. Much like the music, it's not memorable in the slightest. The annoying thing is that there are moments in this song that I do kind of like. The introduction, as I mentioned, is great, and the bass line near the middle is a welcome presence, and it's definitely one of Guetta's least in-your-face tracks, restraining from blowing out your eardrums, which is a relief. Nevertheless, it isn't something worth of a playlist entry. Bad luck, Guetta. Next time, maybe. I won't hold my breath. At number 8 is Blank Space by Taylor Swift. You know, there's a very good reason why I haven't reviewed Shake It Off. I'm purposely staving off talking about that song at a later date. And trust me, it ain't gonna be pretty, that's for sure. But you would have thought that Swift was incapable of releasing anything that's worse than Shake It Off. Thankfully, she hasn't. Blank Space is by no means a work of art and is marginally better than Shake It Off. But I still have my issues with this song. There are many people out there who have come to this song's defence who aren't fans of Taylor, but I largely put that down to her previous outing being so bad that people were just waiting for the next song to be dropped. From first impressions, people are gravitating towards the more minimalistic instrumentation, which, okay, I'll give this song a pass regarding the music, even if I do get I'm different flashbacks. Other than this, I don't find this song all that appealing. I guess this song is Taylor's attempt to be self-aware that 99% of her discography is about her being in a shit relationship constantly because of her appalling taste in men. But for me, it comes off as being smug than it does self-aware. Claiming that love is just a game and boys only want love if it's torture. Admitting to choosing her next mistake willingly, all the while deluding herself that this man will come back to her even after being rebuffed, which has no similarity in reality as far as Miss Swift is involved, and how she can make bad boys good for a weekend. I mean, it just smacks of smugness, because as we all know, she'll be back to her usual shtick within a matter of seconds. Taylor, you are insane, sweetheart, and you need help. Immediately. Like, right now. At number 7 is a new entry from Labyrinth called Jealous. One of Labyrinth's more stripped back songs, Jealous is another attempt by Labyrinth to show a more sentimental side to him. This is a side of Labyrinth that isn't as prominent as the majority of his releases, which is kind of surprising, since it worked brilliantly in the past with Beneath Your Beautiful featuring Emily Sandé 2 years ago, a song that even made my best hits of 2012 list, appearing at the number 2 spot no less. And when I learned that this would be another song of the same vein, I was really looking forward to it. Did it live up to the hype? Unfortunately, no. Again, it's not bad, but it doesn't hold a candle to Beneath Your Beautiful. It's no secret that Labyrinth doesn't have a strong vocal, but when contrasted with Sandé's more powerful tones, it made that collaboration stand out as a great track, and the lyrics held great sentiment, and I actually believed what Labyrinth was saying. This, on the other hand, Labyrinth sounds like he's straining so badly, it's really uncomfortable to listen to. Plus, the lyrics are pretty boring to boot. It's supposed to be about Labyrinth addressing one of his parents who left him and his family when he was 4 years old, but it reads like he's serenading not being with a woman that he desperately wants to be with. According to Labyrinth, he's not only jealous of the rain that touches this person's skin, but he's also jealous of the wind that runs through their clothes, the nights because he's not laying with this person, and the love they're sharing with another person. Dude, get over it. Move on and do better than this song, please. At number 6 is Still My Girl by One Direction, which I've already reviewed, so if you want to hear my opinions of that song, check out the video in the description box below. Moving on to number 5, Real Love by Clean Bandit and Jess Glynn. It's almost impossible to believe that at the beginning of the year, the song that was inescapable from the radio, for all the right reasons I'd like to add, was the collaboration from pop newbies Clean Bandit and Jess Glynn with their smash hit song Rather Be. Rightfully a smash hit and an easy pick for their best hit songs of 2014 list. Spoilers. Now the two are back together for the back end of the year with Real Love, which peaked at number 2 last week, and to be honest, I can't help but feel really underwhelmed by this track. Unfortunately, this song doesn't have the memorable hook that Rather Be has. It's too lyrically repetitive and it doesn't build on any sort of connection between the two protagonists in this song. With Rather Be, there's a story behind the song and you actually build a connection with the characters. Real Love doesn't have that and it feels very empty. As usual, Jess Glynn's vocals are standout, and it's a shame that she hasn't had the impact on the charts that she deserves. But considering what's charted this year, are you really surprised? I'm not. It's disappointment more than anything. I can only hope that Jess's popularity only continues to grow from here on out. But as far as chart success goes, we'll have to wait and see. At number 4 is Thinking Out Loud by Ed Sheeran. Easily one of the standout songs from Sheeran's second and really good album, Multiply. Thinking Out Loud is Sheeran's 3rd single from that album to reach the top 10, as well as breaking the record for the longest climb to the top of the UK charts, spending 19 weeks in the top 40 before it managed to clinch the number 1 spot. The fact that it's now spent 23 weeks in the top 40 shows testament to how popular the song is. But as we all know, popularity doesn't exactly account for quality. Does Sexy and I Know It ring any bells? Thinking Out Loud has such an emotional resonance and gorgeousness that really no other song that I can think of that has charted this year possesses. Sure, a lot of them have a beautiful nature to them and they mean well, but none are as solemn as Thinking Out Loud. Depicting the image of a man serenading his significant other, saying that even when they get to the later years of their lives that he will still feel the same love as he did when they were younger. It's done in such a way that it doesn't feel corny, pandering or formulaic. It's laid with sincerity and emotion that one can't help but feel such a connection with the lyrics. Dubbed as a walking down the aisle song by the man himself, it would definitely leave very few dry eyes in the room. Number 3 is Wrapped Up by Ollie Murs featuring Gym Class Heroes frontman Travie McCoy. One of the very few talent show contestants that I can stand to a degree. I've personally found Ollie Murs to be on the decline in terms of material that he's released in previous years. It's not bad by any stretch of the imagination, but I do find it all samey. In fact, Dear Darling, his most successful song in terms of sales last year, I found to be a welcoming change. It wasn't spectacular, but hell, it was something different. Unfortunately, the same can't be said with his newest single, Wrapped Up. Suffering from sounding pretty much the same as 90% of his material, and the lyrics are pretty weak and generic. Murs is all hung up about this female he's attracted to, but is full of the tired old cliches that I find myself turning off almost instantly. You're the lock, I'm the key, got me wrapped up around your little finger, got me so high I can't come down, I do anything for your love. They're all there. Throw in some questionable lyrics like, and when you touch it, the feeling lingers. Do I really want to know what it is? Your body fits on mine like a glove. Let them say whatever they want. It's too late now because you're in my blood. Too much information there, Ollie. Along with a terrible guest verse from Travie McCoy, and you've got what I personally think is Murs' weakest release to date. Number 2 is last week's number 1, Do They Know It's Christmas Time by Band 830. Just when you hoped and wished and prayed that this song wouldn't be revived like it was 10 years ago, the joyous thought was shattered into a million pieces less than 2 weeks back when it was revealed that Bob Geldof had recruited some of the UK's most prominent artists, some not so prominent, and other familiar faces who have contributed to previous versions of the song to raise money for the recent Ebola outbreak in Africa. Yes, the intentions are good, and yes, it's great that this has raised a lot of cash for a great cause. But honestly, why did this song have to be revamped again? Do we really need this condescending, arrogant, awful song as some sort of guilt trip to make people part with their money as a way of donating? No, we don't. And honestly, we can certainly do without seeing sycophant Geldof's mug plastered all over our TV screens, thank you very much. And I never ever thought I'd say this, but Lily Allen, good on you, girl, for what you said. I agree with everything. Many other artists who have spoken up against this song, including Fuse, ODG and Damon Albarn, they all have very valid points about why this song and its lyrics suck overall. But on a side note, it's great to hear Sinead O'Connor again, even if it is on this song. Very briefly. Most notable about this song is the alterations that were made, most notably in the line, "Well tonight thank God it's them instead of you," being changed very inappropriately, I have to add, to "Well tonight we're reaching out and touching you," which conjures up images that really, you don't need me to paint that particular picture. Like I said in the video I made last year when I talked about One Direction's mashup of One Way or Another and Teenage Kicks for comic relief, if you're going to donate, do it by any means necessary other than buying this piece of crap song. And this means coming off of the recent departure of longtime member Jason Orange, Take That celebrate their new life as a three-piece group consisting of Gary Barlow, Mark Owen and Howard Donald. Take That are a group that have always had a mixed bag of songs as far as I'm concerned. I've always preferred the group's more upbeat songs as opposed to their much sappier tracks. I'd say that their best ballad, the one I honestly say that I love, would be Back for Good. However, Shine still remains the best song that Take That have ever done, and having Mark Owen lead that song was one of the best decisions that group could have made. Can you imagine what a disaster it would have been if Gary Barlow was fronting that track? Ugh, I don't even bear thinking about it. Anyway, what about these days? Well, let's be honest here, it's not like losing Jason Orange was a big loss. He didn't do anything worthwhile in the group, he was just there. Howard is nearly as useless, but at least he took the lead in Never Forget, and at least he's done something. However, I'm a bit conflicted about this song. Yes, it's upbeat, and yes, it's far from the schmaltzy and insipid shit that Take That have done in the past, but it's easily one of the most un-Take That songs that Take That have ever done, and I'm not sure whether I like it. The easiest comparison would be to compare it to Relight My Fire, the song they did some 20 years ago. The reason that song is an instant classic in Take That's discography, well, obviously aside from Lulu being on that track, it's fun, memorable, has a hook and vibe to it that makes the song stand out, whereas these days just seems to fall by the wayside and it isn't exactly a song that sticks in your head. Also, layering the vocals with artificial effects doesn't help the group when they've never needed them before. So, it's a slight miss for me. Sorry guys. So, that's it. Those are the top 10 biggest selling songs in the UK right now. What do you think about the songs? Do you like them? Do you hate them? Do you agree, disagree with the opinions that I've shared in this video? Whatever your feelings are, please leave your opinions in the comment section below. I welcome all comments, good or bad. And until next time, take care.